Welcome, everybody. Good to see you all. Thank you for coming today. So take off any glasses. Bring your hands onto your thighs. Look straight forwards. And be balanced on your 2 sits bones and release your thighs down away from your hands. Lift up through the sides of your trunk. Bring your outer shoulders back. Place your head right over your shoulders there. And lift your breastbone up and bring your hands to your heart center and close your eyes. With your eyes closed, connect with your breath. With your inhalations, bring some energy up from the base of the spine into your chest. And with your exhalations, flow your mental energy towards your heart space. As you bring your head into your heart, having compassion for yourself today, please join me for 3 ohms. Lift your chest upwards, bow your head downwards. Bring your hands down to your thighs with your palms up. Raise your head and slowly open your eyes. Okay, welcome again, everybody. Stretch out your legs. And let's move our mats to the wall. Bring the short edge of your mat to the wall there. Take a couple of blocks with you. Okay, and let's have the blocks slanted. It depends on what kind of blocks you have. If they stay, you know, you're good to go if they stay, but if they don't stay, you can make a little lip with your mat. So you can, because I want slanted blocks. So just like a 45-degree angle, slanted blocks. And the blocks can be about as wide as the mat, that way. And then we're going to take downward dog with your hands on the blocks, fingers upwards. So downward dog with your hands on slanted blocks. So take your feet at least as wide as your hands, at least as wide as those blocks are, and see if it's possible. Okay, let me know if this feels good to your wrist. If this doesn't feel good to your, it might feel good to your wrist, Natalie. If it doesn't, you can try turning your hands outwards, or you can just have your palms flat. You might want to elevate your heels of your hands on a sticky mat. Good. So if you can do it, have the fingers, nails going straight upwards and get your heels all the way down. You have your hands lifted. So see if you can get your heels all the way down to the floor, all the way down, without shortening your dog. Yeah, without making your dog shorter. That's the challenge, right? But usually with the hands lifted, you can get the heels down a little bit more. That's it. And just feel what the blocks in this position might help you to do, which is to extend your arms and connect your arms to the shoulder blades. And the top of the shoulder blade can move in. Top of the shoulder blade moves in and the top of the chest moves back. And then with your heels down, see if it feels any different to you with your heels down. So we're doing downward dog with hands on slanted blocks. Okay, and then slowly come down, and you can keep your hands on the blocks and take child's pose. So hands on the blocks, bring your big toes to touch, get your hips down onto the feet, let your head come down. If the head feels too far from the floor, put a blanket under your head or something under the head. And you can always move your hands a little bit lower on the blocks if they feel too high. And if it really feels too much, just take the blocks away if there's any shoulder discomfort. Otherwise, as you move your hips back, you might notice that you can get your hips further back when your hands are elevated also. So when we change something, everything changes a little bit. So as the hips go back, move your thighs down. And as your hands press into those blocks, make sure that the tops of your arms are turning outwards. They're not turning in. Tops of the arms are turning out, and like your inner elbows are moving up towards the ceiling. Exhale your breath. Good. Okay, and then let's come on up. And you can take the blocks away and do downward dog with your heels against the wall. Downward dog with your heels against the wall. And this is where, Natalie, this may not work if you have a wrist consideration. So I don't know if you have an extra sticky mat around, but if you have a slant board, and you can put the heel of your hand on some height. See how the heel of my hand is a little bit higher? And that creates some openness in the wrist. You could even use a blanket, a folded blanket, as long as it's not too soft. Anything like that will work. Otherwise, you can just do downward dog again with your hands at the wall. If you had ropes, I would have you do ropes. So push, make sure that your feet are as wide as the hands. And now the hands can be turned out about 45 degrees. Push the heels into the wall. So that's only for Natalie, Sharon. If you do need that for your wrist, okay. But then you want the heel of your hand. You want the heel of your hand on this way, so that the blanket is here, the fingers are here. Do you see that difference? So you have to bring your hands. Yeah, that's it. That's the way. Yeah, that's it. So that the heel of the hand is slightly higher, and that creates more openness in the wrist joint. Yeah, that's it. So push your heels backwards. Straighten your legs by lifting the kneecaps up, and roll the inner thighs back like you had a block in between your inner top thighs. And then as you press your hands down and the top of the shoulder blade still moves in, move your outer hips back. Move those outer hips back towards the wall and deepen your breath. Good. And now walk your feet forward. Some of you might need your blocks. So walk your feet forward and take Arda Uttanasana. David, you can just put your hands on a wall, or you can use high blocks under your hands. Also, AJ, you can see how your back is feeling today. So either blocks or fingertips or wall, just concave your back, straighten your legs, lift your chest. So be on your fingertips, even if your hands are on blocks. Yeah, that's it. And have your hands right under the shoulders. Lift your head, look forward, concave your upper back. So move the shoulder blades in. That's it. Shoulder blades in. Nice. And then take your hands out to the sides and release your head down. Those of you with your hands at the wall, just bend your knees and release your arms down. Bend your knees and go down. Let your head hang down. That's it. So get the feeling of forward bending. Yes. Those of you with your legs straight, take your hands out to the sides. Actually, everybody, The hands go out to the side, legs are straight, or maybe the knees are bending, but make sure that your knees are going right over the center of your feet. Exhale your breath. Good. Okay, now bring your hands onto the hips, reach the chest forwards, and up you come. Good. Okay, now put these two blocks against the wall this way. So they're flat. They're flat against the wall, pretty wide, and they're flat and long. Flat and long. And then get your chair. What's that? You're warm already? Okay. So this goes, so you have the underside of the chair going towards the wall. The underside of the chair is going towards the wall. The chair is folded. So you have a folded chair this way, and then the chair legs go against those blocks. And then you might need a blanket here. So I'm just going to show that with a blanket there, because you're going to have the top of the chair going into your hip crease. So you might need a blanket, or a sticky mat also would work. So watch what I do. I just have my right leg forward. It's going to look like my left leg on camera, but I want you to have your right leg. And this chair comes right into my hip crease. Right into my hip crease there. Right into my hip crease. And then I start to go down. Actually, I just bring my hand to the wall first. So bring your hand to the wall and get this right into the hip crease. So it's moving. Make sure it's below your frontal hip bone. Okay, so we'll take this position, and then we're going to come down, and you'll bring your hand onto somewhere on the seat of the chair. But start in this position so I can see that everybody's got a good thing going on there. As I think they say in some kind of song from the 70s, right? Good thing going on. Sounds like a song from the 70s, doesn't it? Okay, so that's it. Yeah, that's good. So make sure that chair is right. It's not in your waist. It's below your frontal hip bone. It's on the thigh. That's it. And bring your fingertips as high up the wall as you can go. Your right foot will come right into the center in between the two chair legs. Make sure that you have a heel to arch alignment. Good. And let that chair help that hip crease go deeper in. Move the chair into the hip crease. Pull it in so that there's a drawing in of that right thigh bone deeper in. Move your left foot further back. And then walk your hand higher up the wall. Keep your left thigh moving back. So that's that bhavana, that's that feeling, sense. That's good, Sharon, that's it. Now, keep your left hand on the hip and bring your right hand down to the bottom of the chair seat. There's a crease there at the bottom of the chair seat. Yes, see where you can go. There you go, that's it. Yes, straighten your legs. Nice, roll your left shoulder back. Keep drawing that right thigh bone in, of course, bringing the right buttocks forwards. And now lift up your left arm in a straight line with your right arm. Yes, that's it. Utthita Trikonasana, absorbing that right thigh bone deeper in, absorbing the right buttocks forward. Beautiful. Now reach up and come up, and let's do that on the other side. So turn yourself around and bring that chair right up into the top of that left thigh, below the left hip bone. Take your right leg way back, one leg's distance between your legs. And you have a heel to arch alignment. Make sure that your right heel is further back than the toes. And then just start with your left fingertips way up the wall, way up the wall. And make sure that that right heel is a little bit further back. Yes. And then just have your right hand on the hip, draw your legs up and draw this left hip deeper in. Like that, yes. Draw that left hip deeper in. Let the chair help you become more aware of the direction you're wanting to go with that left thigh bone. Bring the left buttocks forward, keeping the outer right thigh rolling back. Keep walking your left fingertips higher and higher up the wall. Allow that left side to lengthen. Yes, because it's being held, right? So you can really lengthen, and then bring your left hand down somewhere onto the chair seat. Usually the The lower edge of the chair seat works. That's it. Roll that right shoulder back. That looks really good. Natalie, deepen your breath. Keep drawing that left thigh bone deeper in, absorbing the left buttocks forward, rolling that right shoulder back. Good. And now lift up your right arm and come up out of the pose. Great. Okay, and now we're going to do that again, but watch what we're going to do. So now we have the front leg into the chair. The right leg is back. Some of you, it looked like you could bring the back leg a little bit further back. So I'm coming here, and then I'm coming here. Here, and then I'm coming here. And you may or may not touch the wall. You may or may not touch the wall. So you should feel a nice lengthening, not just on this side, which this gave us, but now you'll have this side also lengthening. Okay, so let's try that. So again, bring the right leg forward and get that chair into that right hip crease. Take your left leg maybe a little bit further back than you did the first time. Have the left heel further back than the toes. Have a heel to arch alignment and start with the right hand way up the wall and your left hand on the hip. And absorb that right leg deeper in. Absorb the right buttocks further forward. Yes. And then bring your right hand down to the chair, somewhere where you can find leverage, maybe here. The heel of your hand can come there. Lift up your left arm. That's it. And then like Parsvottanasana, turn your left arm and extend it towards the back of your head. And it might touch the wall, it might not. So that's not the goal. That's it. And just keep that extension. Can you bring the heel of your hand here? Heel of your hand down, down. That's the way, yes, so that you're not losing that length on that right side. Now you can touch the wall. That's it. And then move your left arm back towards the back of your ear. Roll those left ribs back. Deepen the breath. Ah, that's great. Yes, good. Now lift up your left arm and up you come out of the pose. Great. Good. Let's do that on the other side. Isn't that nice? It's nice. It's a nice lengthening on both sides, really. Okay, so let's do that. Left leg is forward, right leg is back. Your right heel is a little bit further back than your toes. Maybe you're taking your right foot slightly further back, not dramatically further back, but slightly. And then just have that the top of the chair into the left hip crease. Bring your left fingertips way up the wall, right hand on the hip. So absorb that left thigh bone deeper in. And bring your left buttocks forward, keeping the outer right thigh moving back. Now bring your left hand down to the chair seat. Make sure, the chair isn't opening there, Sharon. Don't let the chair open. That's it. And then lift up your right arm. Reach your arms away from each other. And now turn your top arm like Uttita Parsvottanasana and extend it towards the back of your ear. Yes, and maybe you'll touch your wall, maybe not. Yes, straighten your legs, absorb that left thigh bone deeper in, left buttocks forwards. These are great. And just breathe into that right side, but make sure that you're not shortening the left side. That's it. It's like you're pushing down into the chair, lifting the left armpit away from that left hip. These are good. Roll the right ribs back, head back. And now lift up your right arm and come up out of the posture. Super good. Okay, now just open up your chair and take Arda Uttanasana. So have your hands on the back of the chair. And I'll leave it to you whether you have the feet apart, like as wide as your hands, or some of you can have your feet all the way together. So I'll leave that to you. What feels better for your body, either apart or together, but make sure that your feet are right under the hips and have your hands on the top of the chair. So your body forms more like a 90-degree angle. Make sure that your head isn't too low, not dropping the head down. Your ears are just level with the upper arms. If the back of the chair feels too low, of course, take the wall again. Yes, that's it. So spread your toes and lengthen the bottoms of the feet from the arches to the tips of your toes, from the arches back to the heels, and be even on your inner and your outer feet. Draw the inseams of your legs all the way up. And now it's a really thin block if you have your legs together, but think of that thin block moving back, the inner top thighs moving back, the outer hips moving back. Deepen your breath. Good. Okay, and now walk forwards towards the chair. Great. And now you can move the blocks. We'll keep the blocks where they are. Turn the chair again like it was, and you can use that same padding, blanket or whatever you were using. But we're going to do Parsvottanasana, which is all about lengthening the sides of the trunk, like we were just doing, right, in that last version of Utthita Uttanasana. So now I have my right leg forward, I have my left leg back, but my hips are even, and the chair is giving me a lot of information about if I need to bring this back hip further forward. And then I just come into a concave back. So let's just try that first and see how far we get with a concave back. Okay, so Parsvottanasana. Okay, so step your right leg forward, step your left leg back, one leg's distance. Turn your back foot out about 45 degrees and organize your feet heel to heel aligned, unless you need to go wider today, which is fine. And again, the chair now comes into the top of both thighs. It's in the top of both thighs. And usually the left hip is not touching the chair as much as the right hip. So can you bring the left hip forward towards the chair seat and draw your right hip back a little bit away from the chair seat? So there's more of an evenness in your hips. And then walk your hands down and hold onto the legs of the chair and lift your chest. So your hands are right under the shoulders. Don't come so far down that your upper back starts to round. Look upwards, chin up. That's it. Straighten your legs. Keep moving that left hip forward, right hip back. Good. Press down with the chair. Lift your inner arms forward, inner armpits forward. Move the shoulder blades into the back. Now walk your hands up and switch your legs. That's great. Okay, so left leg is forward, right leg is back. Heel to heel alignment. Your back foot is turned out. Bring the chair to the top of both thighs. Walk your hands down the chair legs to the sides of the chair. Only so far as you can go, would you still keep that concavity in your back. And then just notice if your right hip is a lot further away from the chair, can you bring your right hip closer to the chair and draw your left thigh bone deeper in. So your left hip is like drawing away from the chair. Draw your outer hips in. Move the fronts of your thighs into the backs of the thighs. Keep a concavity in your back, chin up. Some of you can walk your hands lower down and still have that concavity. Yes, go down as low as you can with still having the concavity in your back. That's it, Laura. Lift your chest, breastbone forward, inner armpits forward, shoulder blades in. Now walk your hands back up. Okay, good. And then go back to the first side. Okay, so right leg forward, left leg back. Have a heel to heel alignment. Bring the top of the chair into the top of both thighs. Walk your hands down and come back to where you left off, concave back. That's it. So use the chair as a device to become more aware. So some of you have practiced with the ropes. We do this with the ropes also, and it's the same idea. Everybody's hips look super even, and that's not the case when we do this pose without the chair. It's not the case at all. So bring the left hip forward, the right hip back. So you should touch the chair. This has to touch more. And bring this left hip in and then turn. Bring this right hip back, left hip forward. Now, walk your hands as low as you can go, down, 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 and then take your elbows out to the sides and then surrender your head down. And maybe your head will come into the bucket of the chair. Maybe it won't. That's it. If your chair feels stable, walk your hands even lower. Some of you can probably bring your hands onto the blocks as long as your chair feels stable. So go down, and if it feels better, David, stay concave back. If it feels better, AJ, stay concave back. Or you can even try it with your hands up on the wall. You can try with your hands up on your wall and see if that feels better for AJ and David. Walk your hands up the wall. That's it, on your fingertips. Yes. So keep moving that left hip forward, right hip back, hug your hips in and go down. Nice. Okay, now come back to concave back and switch your legs. Left leg forward, right leg back. Bring the top of the chair into the top of both thighs. Concave your back and bring the right hip further forward closer to the chair and the left hip back, keeping that left big toe mound down. Nice. Good. Now take a slightly longer distance, Denise. And then inhale as you exhale, keep that length of the front spine and the length on both sides of your trunk. And then go down, bend your elbows out to the sides. Release your head towards the bucket of the chair. Maybe it will rest, maybe it won't. Don't, it's not about that. That's it. Keep bringing the right hip forward, the left hip back, move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Enjoy that evenness. Good. David, stay in concave or walk your hands up. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's better. As long as the chair will stay. Good, now come back to concave back and then walk your hands back up and release. Great, good work. Okay, now let's move the blocks away so we don't need those blocks anymore. And have your chair, well, let me show it this way. So as my back is to the wall and my chair is in front of me and the back of my chair is on my right-hand side. So I don't think it will show that way on camera, but that's what I want you to do. Your back will be to the wall and the chair will be the back of the chair will be to the right. The seat of the chair is going to the left. Back of the chair is to the right, okay? So then watch what I do once I have that configuration. I have my left heel against the wall. Back foot is turned out 45 degrees. I have my right leg forward, heel to arch, a heel to heel alignment. And I'm coming here to lift my chest. And then I'm bringing my left forearm at a diagonal across this chair. I'm going to bring the chair a little bit closer to me. And I'm using this hand to get a nice turn, Prasarita Padottanasana. So I'm using this hand on the back to turn. Okay, so if this chair is too low, what you can do is put a sticky mat on the chair, and then or even some of you can even try it without the sticky mat, and you can raise the chair upwards with a bolster. So you can have a bolster going across the chair, okay? And you can do it that way, okay? So let's do that. Bring your left foot to the wall, step your right leg forward, go further forward with that right leg. That's it. And then just bring your left hand onto the chair seat, bring your right hand onto the back of the chair. And first, just lift your chest. So just look forward. So just look forward, just lift up your chest, come to this position. So you're just coming here first, and you're basically in Parsvottanasana, concave back, right? Now inhale, now exhale, bring that left forearm down onto the chair at a diagonal. Yeah, so your left elbow will come to the one corner of the chair seat and your left hand comes to the other corner. That's it, yes, good. Now press your back heel into the wall, press your right inner foot down, keep that same evenness in your hips. Yes, press down into the chair with your left elbow, lift your chest and bring that left shoulder blade into your back. Bring that left shoulder blade, flatten it into the back. Press your right hand into the back of the chair and roll your right shoulder back over your left shoulder. Roll the right shoulder way back over the left shoulder. You can even come up on your right fingertips if that helps you. And then ask yourself, is my head leaning back or is my head in line with my tailbone? Is my right hip swinging out to the right? So straighten your legs, push that wall backwards with your left heel and turn your abdomen, turn your ribs, lift your chest upwards with that top hand. Yes, good. And then release. Great. And now let's go to the other side. So just turn your chair around. All you have to do is turn the chair around and then switch your legs. So the right heel will come back and the left leg is coming forward. Have a heel to heel alignment unless you're going wider. And then bring your right hand onto the seat of the chair, your left hand onto the back of the chair, and lift your chest, concave your back. Good. Now inhale, as you exhale, bring your right elbow down. That's it. Your arm is at a diagonal. You can even, that's it. Bring your left hand onto the back of the chair. Good. So left leg is forward, right leg is back. So the first thing is, of course, straight legs. And then the second thing is even hips. Is your left hip swinging out to the side? Don't let it. Is your head drifting back? So as you press that right elbow down, move from your right shoulder blade. Yes, and get that left shoulder all the way over the right shoulder. Turn, turn, press your left hand down, even if you need to come up on the left fingertips. Keep your head in line with your tailbone. Keep your left hip in. Move that right shoulder blade into the back and get your right chest further forward. Get that right chest further and further forward. You got it. And now release. Very good. Okay, so let's try that one more time. Some of you can repeat that. That looked like it was a good option for you. Others of you, now you turn the chair around. So the back of the chair is facing you. And now when I bring my left hand down, I'm holding onto that crossbar. I'm holding onto the crossbar and I'm really getting a nice turn now. So I'm turning. So I'm reaching down with this left arm from my shoulder blade. I'm pushing here and I'm turning without letting this happen. See how the hip is going out and the head is going back. So you have to keep, where is my head and my tailbone in space, and turn. Okay, so let's try that. Some of you repeat the first one. That's a little bit more forgiving, okay? Otherwise, now you stand with your back to the wall and the back of the chair is on your right-hand side. Step your right leg forward, one leg's distance, so go longer, Denise. Bring the right foot further forward, good. And then just have your right hand on the back of the chair. Those of you doing the first one, just go through those stages, concave, and then bring your forearm down. Those of you doing the second one, lift up your left arm, inhale, and then exhale, come down and bring your left hand onto the crossbar of your chair. Yes. Now straighten your legs. That's it. Hug your hips in. Hug those hips in. So the right hip is not swinging out to the side. And then from your left shoulder blade, reach all the way down through your left hand. Reach all the way down. With your right hand, push into the back of that chair and roll the right shoulder over the left shoulder. Even if it's better to come up on the right fingertips. Turn, turn, turn. There you go. That's it. Have your head back in line with your tailbone. Straighten your legs. How's it coming? Looks good. Yeah, it looks good. Turn, use your breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn more. These are great. And now release. Super good. Okay, let's go to the other side. Now move your chair to the other side. Maybe you're doing the first one with the seat of the chair in, or you're doing the second one. So the right heel is at the wall. Step your left leg way far forward, 4.5 or 5 feet. Heel to heel alignment. Hold with your left hand on the back of the chair. If you're doing the first version, just come down into concave back. Good. So raise your right arm up, inhale, and then come over and down. Bring your right hand onto the crossbar. Yes. Good. Now straighten your legs. Push that right heel back, even if it needs to come up the wall a little bit. That's fine. Straight, hug your hips in. Now lift your chest. And as you reach down with that right arm from the right shoulder blade, roll this left shoulder back. How is this feeling for you? Looks good. Press down into that left, into the chair, even if you're on your fingertips, and turn. Yes, keep your head in line with your tailbone. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. See if you can find any ease in this standing twist. It's not an easy pose. Keep your head in line with your tailbone. These look really good. AJ, that looks amazing. Now turn and release and come up out of the pose. Very good. Okay, now just take Arda Uttanasana this way. So put the seat of the chair, have your hands on the seat of the chair. Press your hands down. You're not pushing the chair forward. And again, have your legs back. And I'll leave it again up to you, whether your feet are apart, which is more forgiving and kind of more restful. Otherwise, the legs can be together. And that's it. So hands pressed down into that chair, straighten the arms. Keep the inner legs lifting upwards, moving those inner thighs back. Just let your head be in between your arms. Good. Okay, and then release. And then turn the chair around, or turn the chair over, I should say. Turn the chair over. And if you want to have it, well, don't have it be against the wall, because then your head might get in the way. So I just have the chair here, and then we've done this before. I think it's just such a delicious lengthening of the calf muscle. So you have to bring some part of your sticky mat into the bucket of the chair, like a pie crust. And you might need more if heels are bony or sensitive. And then what I do is I just have my hands on the legs of the chair, and I get my heels all the way into the chair seat. I'm into the chair seat. And this is as far as some of you will go. You're just going to stay here. You're in concave back. Keep your hips. The feet are as wide as that chair seat. But some of you can go lower, concave back lower. That's it. And then once you're there, some of you can go all the way down and bend your elbows out to the sides and go down. Okay, but let's all come here first. So be in concave back. So take your feet all the way out to the edges, and you're pushing out into the sides of that chair seat. Make sure that your heels are inside the chair seat. Yes, good. Good, that's good. Concave your back. Now concave your back, but go lower. Bring your hands lower down onto the chair seat or onto the sides of the chair. Arms are straight, legs are straight. Don't let your hips go back. Don't let your hips go back. They will want to go back. Mine do as well. That's it. Keep your hips right over the ankles. Good. Go as low as you can with a concave back. Lift your chest, arms straight. Lift your chest. Good. Now, once you're there, some of you stay there. Others of you bend your elbows out to the sides and go down. There you go. That's it. Nice. Keep your hips right over the ankles. Some of you can even bring your hands to the floor. You can even bring your hands to the floor on your fingertips. Yes. And it's lengthen from the backs of the knees into the heels. You can walk your hands up that wall, David, as long as your chair is stable. That's it. Or stay just in concave back. Yes. Good, Laura. Keep your hips right over those ankles. Now come back to concave back, and then bring your hands onto the chair legs. That's the way. And then step out of your chair. Well done. It's intense, isn't it? Now just stand in Tadasana and see if you don't have your heels further on the floor. Didn't that, the back of the knee goes down? Don't you have the heels closer? So that's the feeling that you want in Tadasana. And it brings everything back. Everything moves back. Lift your chest upwards. So that's why it's important to eventually get your heels down in downward dog. There's many ways to do that, but it's important not to always have the heels up. Okay, so now let's just take another supported Uttanasana. So turn the chair right side up. And have your hips at the wall and your feet are angled. The feet are angled. I'm leaving it to you how wide you want your feet, maybe mat distance, maybe hip distance, maybe all the way together. Some of you will need a bolster on top of the chair. If that feels too low, you can turn the chair around this way. So I want you to do head supported Uttanasana, either with your head on the chair seat or your head on the bolster, or turn the chair around and have your head on the back of the chair. Yes, and your legs are angled forward about 1.5 feet away from the wall. Rest your hips on the wall. Straighten your legs. The legs can be hip distance, mat distance, or if it's coming well, you can join the legs together, Uttanasana. Keep drawing those inner legs up. Keep moving that imaginary block backwards in between your thighs. Moving your outer hips back towards the wall, resting your head. Switch the cross of your arms. Good. Okay, and now bring your hands onto the chair seat or whatever your hands are on. Lift your chest and then come up and release. Those of you who practice headstand, get ready for headstand. If you're not doing headstand today, I want you to take Prasarita Padottanasana, just the classic pose. First, you'll take Prasarita Padottanasana, so you can have your feet wide. And then you come down, you all know that pose, right? So you concave your back and then you walk your hands back and you're in Prasarita Padottanasana. Otherwise, come into classic head balance. Good. So those of you in Prasarita, straighten your legs. Can you bring your feet any closer together, Nicole? Bring your feet closer together. Headstanders, seal your outer wrist down, lift up through your inner shoulders, and stream your legs upwards. We've done, I think, all straight-legged poses, right? So see if you can get the legs to extend upwards. Now, those of you in Prasarita Padottanasana, lift up your chest, bring your feet closer together. That's it. And then slowly start to come up. And then just have a bolster against your wall. Long ways. This is for the people who did Prasarita Padottanasana. And then you'll take Upavish Konasana. So you have a bolster, spine length, and you take your legs wide apart and you're sitting in Upavish Konasana. Just place your hands alongside your body. And if depending on your bolster, you can even raise your bolster up a little bit and either lean your head back or just bring your head onto the top of the bolster. This feels really good for me, but it depends on your bolster that you have, different folks. Otherwise, you can keep your neck straight. So just take Upavish Konasana. And of course, if you need to sit up on some height, sit up on some height in front of the bolster. You can have a rectangular blanket there. And take your legs wide. Good, now headstanders. Keep hugging those hips in. Good. Okay, now we're going to turn. Okay, so headstanders, keep your shoulders lifting and turn your hips to the right. Turn your hips to the right. So you have to keep that as you turn to the right side. Yes. Keep that right shoulder lifting and the left shoulder blade moving in. Roll your thighs in. Nice. And then come back to the center. Keep the buttocks connecting to the heels. Keep your shoulders lifting. Inhale. And now exhale, turn to the left. Turn to the left. Keep the left shoulder lifting. Push the right shoulder blade into the back. If you're at the wall, you can feel the whole outer edge of your right foot on the wall as you turn to the left. Yes, good. And then come back to the center. Reestablish your headstand. Keep your shoulders lifting. Roll the legs in. Good. And now keep your shoulders lifting well and then start to come down out of your pose and rest in child's pose. Doesn't that feel nice, Nicole? Yeah, this is great. Isn't it nice? Yeah, just rest your arms. Yeah, that's good. You can also do it with a chair. I'll show you some other time. Okay. And then start to come up from whatever pose you're in, whatever pose you're doing today, right now. Bring your legs together if you're in Upavish Konasana. And let's do some chair twisting. Okay, so have the back of the chair on your right side. And if you have a bolster in between your feet and your knees. So you're hugging the bolster with your feet and your knees. If your hips are lower than your knees, definitely put a folded blanket on top of the chair seat. And then make sure that you're balanced on both sitting bones. And then raise your arms forwards. Pull the sides of your trunk upwards. Inhale, and then exhale, turn to the right and bring your hands onto the chair. That's it. And then hug that bolster with your inner feet and your inner knees. Be balanced on both sitting bones. And then lift up a little bit taller on that left side. And focus on your right hand. So open up your right fingers and push the right hand into the chair. Turn first with that back arm today. Turn with the, that's it. So turn with that right arm. Turn to the right. Lift your chest. And again, move that right shoulder blade into your back. Turn your abdomen, turn your waist. Lift your chin up. Good, now release. Come back to the center and go to the other side. So hug the bolster with your feet and your knees. Be balanced evenly on your two sitting bones. Raise your arms upwards. Inhale and then exhale, turn and come down and hold on to the back of the chair like a big steering wheel. So hug that bolster with your inner feet and your knees. Lengthen through the sides of the trunk, a little bit more on this right side. And then open up your left palm and push into the chair with that left hand and get the left shoulder blade to move deeper into the back and move the left ribs back. Keep lifting your chin up, moving your dorsal spine inwards. That's the way. And release. Very good. Now go back to the first side. Go back to the first side. Hug the bolster with your feet and your knees. Have your feet right under the knees. Raise your arms. Make sure that you're not too far forward on the sitting bones because then the abdomen pushes forward. Pull the sides of the trunk upwards. Inhale, and then exhale, turn to the right and come down. You got it. And again, use your right hand first to turn. Get that right shoulder blade in. Now with your left hand, pull on the side of the chair. Pull the chair to the left. And you can even lift up the left elbow without lifting up the left shoulder and turn. Turn your abdomen, turn your ribs. But as you turn, draw your outer left knee back into the outer left hip so that your left knee doesn't get further ahead. And lengthen your inner right groin forward towards that inner right knee. Lift your chin up and turn. Good. And now release. Go to the other side, the left side. So hug that bolster. Raise your arms upwards. Make sure that you're not too far forward on the sitting bones. Inhale and then exhale. Come forward and turn. Yes, turn. That's it. And then just open up your left palm. Stay lengthen on that right side and push your left hand into the back of the chair. Bring that left shoulder blade in like we were doing in Prasarita Padottanasana. Use your breath, inhale, lift, exhale, turn. And now utilize the strength of your right arm. Lift your right elbow out to the side. Pull the chair to the right. That's it. And spiral your waist around. So think of turning from your tailbone all the way up to the top of the chest. That's it. You turn from the bottom up. Keep inhaling, lifting, exhaling, turning. Use your breath to go a little bit deeper. Keep your chin lifted. That's it. Nice. And turn. Does it feel okay? Good. And now release. Great. Now step through your chair. Step through the chair this way. And bring your heels around the legs of the chair and press your thighs out into the sides of the chair. Good. And then bring your left forearm across the chair and bring your right hand, turning the right fingernails backwards, all the way to the chair seat behind your left buttocks, and really get a nice turn now. So turn all the way around to the right. Keep hugging the chair legs with your inner heels, pressing your thighs out into the sides of the chair. Yes. Turning your abdomen from the left side to the right side. And now with your left hand, pull on the back of the chair. Actually, turn more with your right hand first. So turn with that back arm. So press the right hand into the chair seat and spiral yourself around with that back arm. And then use your front arm. Yes, use the front arm. There you go. Lift your chin and turn more. Good. And now release. And now bring your right forearm onto the back of that chair. Inhale, and then exhale, bring your left arm back. And just notice if the different position, do you feel like you're turning in a slightly different place than the first position? Do you feel like it's a slightly different location that you're targeting? Maybe up around the rib cage. Okay, so hug the chair legs with your heels, press the thighs out into the sides of the chair. Inhale, lift upwards, and you might notice that the sides of the trunk stay a little bit more even in this position also. They're more even. And now focus first on turning with your left hand. So get your left hand all the way around to the right side of the chair if you can. Lift your chin up. Yes. Turn your abdomen, turn your ribs. Now pull with your right arm and pull yourself further around with your right hand on the left side of the back of the chair. Pull yourself around. Excellent. And now release. Good. Okay, now you can, some of you will need to have the back of the chair against the wall. Okay. And then you'll have a bolster in front of your feet. And again, your feet can be mat distance, hip distance, or all the way together. And I just have my sitting bones at the front of this chair. Don't worry, I'll give an option for those who this is not available for. And then we're going to come here. So this is Dandasana. This is Urdhva Hastasana in Dandasana. And then remember, this is like the hinge of a door. You're not hinging from your back. You're hinging from the pelvis. You come down and you concave your back, and then you walk your hands further forward. So Pashimotonasana with the chair. If this is too much, do the pose with your knees bent. The feet can be together or they can be a little bit apart. Just make sure the feet and the knees are equal distance apart. You turn the bolster this way and you come forward and you do it that way. So concave back and then you come forward. Okay, so get ready. Let's all be in Dandasana, either with your knees bent or with your legs straight, depending. And then choose your distance. Roll your shoulders back. Now raise your arms upwards. Urdhva Hastasana in Dandasana. That's it. And then hinge from your hips, not from your back. Come all the way down. Either have your hands. That's it. That's it, David. Walk that bolster forward. If the bolster's too flimsy, you could have another chair in front of you. That's it. Concave your back. Look on your fingertips on the legs or the bolster if you can reach it. Bring your fingertip. That's it. Lift your chest. And now take your hands further forward and let your head come down. Keep walking your hands beyond the bolster. Move the fronts of your thighs into the backs of the thighs. And extend your inner legs forward towards that bolster. That's it. And fold forward. Keep your sacrum coming in. Draw the abdomen back. Super good. Okay, and then walk your hands back up. Great. Doesn't that feel nice? It's nice. Pashimotonasana with the chair. It's really nice. So, and again, the bent knee one also feels really nice too, in case you can't do it. So now you might have to pull the chair out a little bit. And then if you happen to have an extra sticky mat, I'll just show you what I'd like you to do, and then you can see what you have to work with. So I just have a sticky mat on my chair, and I have it folded from the 4th size, like the shoulder stand size, to an 1/8. And I have that here. Okay, and your chair doesn't have to be on a sticky mat if you need to use the one on the floor, as long as your chair isn't going to slide. But I think it should be fine if you need to use your sticky mat that you have on the floor on your chair. That should be fine. And then grab at least a couple of blankets like we normally would sit on at the beginning of class. Have at least a couple of blankets there. Okay. And I'm just going to show you at a diagonal because I think it'll be easier to see. And notice that I have the blankets a little bit back. So I have this sticky mat right at the front edge of my mat, and there's like a shelf. So I have my blankets, and then I have another shelf. So it's like a step. And those of you who have any lower back challenges, use 3 blankets. Use 3 blankets, especially if you have thinner blankets. You could even use as much as a bolster. You could even use a bolster, as long as your bolster is not too thick, because mine's a little bit too thick, but you could use a thinner because you want that shelf. Okay, so go higher if you have any back sensitivity. We're going for Marichi Asana 3. So watch what I do. So once you have your setup, come and watch. So my hips are on the blankets. And I'm bending this leg, the right leg. And this leg is out. So again, I'm coming here. So my hips are on the blankets. My heel is on the sticky mat on the front of the chair. And then I lift up this arm and I move this and I come forward. And then I bring this hand all the way around to this side of the chair and I'm turning. So Marichi Asana 3, using the chair. Okay, let's give it a go. So sit on your blankets. That's it. And then bend your right knee and bring your right heel onto that sticky mat. Yes. And you can have a little bit of space between the right foot and the left thigh. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, good. And then straighten your left leg. Your left leg is straight like Pashimotonasana. Yes, your left leg is straight. Good. Okay, now lift up your left arm. Make sure that your right toes are lifted. So it's like your right foot is flat on the floor. Your right foot is, it's like it's flat on the floor. But yeah, don't point your right foot down. That's it. Now lift up your left arm with a strong exhalation. Hook your left elbow over. Hook your left elbow over that right thigh. If that's not coming, hold on to your right hand. Hold on to your right knee with your right hand. Yes, good. And then see what you get. So see if you can lift up a little bit and inhaling, and then exhale, slide that left arm further down. Keep this foot up. Yeah, I think you have to move those blankets further back. Blankets further back, further back. That's it, that's better, good. Now, once you have that, bring your right hand around to the left side of the chair and go as low as you can on the chair. That's it, because it'll feel better for the shoulder. This is great, Nicole, how does that feel? So straighten your left leg. That's it, press your inner right foot down. Inhale, as you exhale, push your left arm into your right knee and move your left shoulder blade forward like we were doing in Parsvottanasana Trikonasana. That left shoulder blade, your arm should be like this, Sharon, your left arm, that's it. Push your left arm into the leg, but also push your leg into the arm. Bring your right hand all the way back on the chair. Roll that right shoulder back, lift your chin up and turn yourself around. And now release. Very good. How did it feel? Okay. Marichi Asana. That's it. Okay. So stretch out your right leg and bend your left leg. Bring your left heel up. Make sure the blankets are far enough back that your left heel can really get a good sitting on that chair, because you don't want your foot, like you wouldn't want the foot pointing downwards like this. You want the foot kind of up. Okay, so now raise this right arm up, inhale, and then exhale with a strong exhalation, hook that right arm over. Hook that right arm over, that's it. And then press the right leg down and then bring your left arm all the way back behind. Yes, good. Yes, and the lower you can get that left arm, the better. You have to kind of work it out with that shoulder. Yes, because the left shoulder wants to go up. And then once you're there, focus first on your left arm. So turn more with the back arm. Turn more with the back arm. Yes, turn yourself around. And then once you can't turn anymore with the back arm, having a bend of that left elbow, then push your right arm into your outer left thigh. That's it. And turn your abdomen, turn your ribs, lift your chin up and turn some more. Super good. And now release. Great. Let's do it one more time. So stretch out the leg, but I'd like to decentralize the leg, the straight leg. So you'll bring the right leg up and the left leg will go out to the side. So organize yourself with some room for that left leg to go out to the side. Good. Okay, so now with your right hand, you can hold onto this outer right knee, lift up your left arm. And as we go into it again, decentralize this right knee, bring it across. The knee goes one direction, the abdomen goes the other. And with a strong exhalation, hook that left arm over and see if you can't get lower. You have to kind of lean forwards at first. That's it. And then bring your right knee back to the center. The left leg is decentralized. And then bring your right hand way back behind you, all the way to the left side and as low down as you can go. That's it. Good. So turn more with your back arm. That looks great, AJ. Turn more with the back arm. Turn more, lift your chin, use your breath. And now turn with your front arm. Push your left arm into the knee, but also push the right knee into the arm and turn even more. Yes, turn even more. Lift your chin up. And then only if it feels good to you, with your abdomen turning, centralize your left leg. Centralize the left leg. Bring it back to the center and see if you can't go further around. Exhale your breath. Make your waistline thinner. If it feels better to keep your leg decentralized, please do that. Nice. And now release. Very good. Did you feel any difference with your leg decentralized? Gives more space, doesn't it? It gives more space. So this is a challenging pose. Work in that way for a little while longer, and then you can always centralize the leg. Last time, second side. So bring your left leg up, stretch your right leg out, and decentralize the right leg. Decentralize that right leg. So Marichi Asana 3 with the support of the chair. Good. Now lift up your right arm, and with your left hand, push your left knee towards the right, move your abdomen to the left, and then with a strong exhalation, hook, hook. You have to kind of lean forward. Don't settle for what you get. See if you can get your outer right armpit further down. That's it, with your right hand upwards. Now bring your left hand way around towards the right side of the chair. Yes, and just see if you can soften somewhere. Sometimes when we do twisting, we get hardened, aggressive. So see if you can have any sense of softness, have that vairagyam concept, right? That non-attachment concept working more. And then once you have your pose, then see if you can improve it with that softness. So use your left hand to further go around to the left, the back arm. Now push your right arm into the leg and push your leg into the arm and turn more. And only if it's coming well, centralize your right leg. Centralize that right leg and turn more. Yes. Can you bring your left hand further down the side of the chair, Sharon? The left hand. That's the way. Yes. There you go. And turn. Look, that's better. Good. Lift your chin up. And now release. Well done, you guys. Super good. Okay, now just sit in front of your chair. So you can take these props off most likely. And you can sit on some props. So I'm going to leave it to you how much height you're sitting on. And I'm just going to turn my mat at a diagonal. When we do those twistings, many things can kind of tighten up. one of the things that can tighten up is the inner groin. So now we're going to release those inner groins. So we're going to do Badakonasan. So sit on whatever height you need for Badakonasan. And it's usually for these next two poses, it's good to sit like on the front corner of a blanket. You could also just sit on a bolster sideways. If it's super challenging, that's fine. So I'm just sitting on the front corner of a blanket with my feet together. And just start with your hands behind you. So Badakonasana. If your knees are way high, of course, you have to sit on two blankets. Have the chair in front of you, and we'll use it in a little while. So press your heels into each other. If you have knee concerns, bring your feet a little bit further forward. And you can also put soft cloths behind the backs of the knees or belts behind the backs of the knees. So bring your fingertips behind you. Yeah, and Denise is sitting like on the front corner, the front edge of a bolster. That's another good thing. You could sit on the very front of a bolster. So that could work also. You could sit on the front part of a bolster that way. Okay, so once you have that, just kind of lean a little bit to your right side and get your right knee closer to the floor. Get the right knee closer to the floor and keep that right knee down. If your knee makes it to the floor, you can put your right hand onto the inner right thigh, keep the knee down, and then start to lean back towards the left. So you're lengthening that right thigh, but only if the knee makes it down. And make sure that you're not pushing into the knee. You're pushing into the soft tissue on the inner thigh above the knee. And lean now to the left, keeping that right knee down. And lengthen that right inner thigh. Press your right heel into your left heel. Good, now release. And now lean a little bit to the left until the left knee goes down. If your left knee doesn't come down, you just have to stay leaning. You have to get that knee down. Only if your knee is down, bring your left hand onto that knee or onto the inner thigh near to the knee, better said. And then now keep the knee down and lean back to the right. Yes, and open up that left inner thigh. Use your exhalations. And then come back to the center. Good, now bring your chair in front of you. Make sure that you're balanced on your two sitting bones. And come forward. And your arms can be straight forwards on the chair. They can be crossed. You can kind of feel what feels better. So this is Adho Mukha Badakonasan, downward facing Badakonasan. If that feels too much, you can also turn the chair around. And you can kind of go up like this on the chair. So you can find where you can go. That's it. Nice. Keep pressing those heels down. Maybe add one more blanket on top of that bolster there, Denise, so your thighs can really release down. Can you still keep your outer thighs moving down towards the floor, pressing your heels into each other? If it comes well, you can move the chair a little bit further forward, but it doesn't have to be, so far. That's great. And remember, you're hinging from your hips, not from your back. Super good. And now release. Bring the chair closer. And now take your legs wide apart, Upavish Konasana, and adjust your height if you need to. So take your legs wide apart, Upavish Konasana, and you might come lower. You might have to go higher. Take your legs wide apart and just have your fingertips behind you. So see if it's possible to take the legs any wider. Look at your right leg. Make sure that your right kneecap is upwards, your right toes are upwards. If your leg feels stuck, slide your fingertips on the back of your right thigh towards the knee, and then slide the fingertips on the back of the knee towards the heel so that the hamstrings and the calf muscles lengthen. And then you can do that on the left leg as well. Turn to the left, make sure that your left kneecap is upwards. And if your leg feels stuck, just lengthen that back of the thigh towards the knee and then the calf muscle towards the heel. Nice. And then bring your fingertips behind you. If you have any knee challenges, you might need space behind, you might need something soft behind your knees if there's a lot of height under your hips. Good. And then again, once again, bring your hands onto the chair and see if you can walk your hands upwards on the chair. So with your legs wide apart, bring your hands up and rest your head here. If that's no good, bring your arms here. Again, if that's no good, turn the chair around and think of going up this way. So go up this way. Even if your head doesn't make it onto something, you can just have something to lean into. So press your legs down. The roots of the thighs go down. Spread the inner legs outwards from the inner groins to the inner knees to the inner heels. Your left toes are falling backwards, Nicole. Keep the left toes up, all of the toes upwards. The kneecaps are going straight upwards. Remember, when we come forward, you're not letting your legs turn in. It's your pelvis that's turning over your legs. See if you can get that feeling. Your pelvis is rotating over your legs. You're not turning your legs. That's it. Press those legs down, rest your head. That looks good, AJ. Release the thighs down. Good. Okay, and then come on up. Very good. Now, Pashimotonasana. Stretch your legs through the chair. Sit on whatever height. You can turn your blanket probably straight. You can have a straight edge now and just sit on the front of the blanket. And then everyone's going to be in a different stage. So, of course, sit higher. And again, choose your distance of your feet, mat distance or chair leg distance, or all the way together. You can choose, okay? And then, so from here, some of you will just be here, like that. But some of you can go further. You can slide your hands down, maybe the legs of the chair just below the chair seat, and then you can start to move this chair further forward. And some of you can go pretty far. So find where you can go, and you can start with less and then you can build into more. So if you have any doubt, go to this one with your hands up on the sides of the chair and your head resting. Just stay there for a few moments in that. Good. If that feels good, bring your hands to the front legs of the chair. No, to the front legs of the chair, just below the chair seat. That's it. And then move the chair further forward. Yes. Press your legs down. Just have your hands on the chair legs just below the chair seat. So the hands will be higher than the feet. Yeah, that's it. And then slide that chair forward. Press your legs down and lengthen your inner legs forwards. Remember, you're hinging from your hips, not from your back. So, Natalie, hold on to the front legs of the chair, and then slide the chair forward. That's it. Yes, go there. And your hands are on the chair legs, just below the chair seat. Yes, good. Lengthen your inner legs forwards. Hold on to the front legs of the chair, Sharon, the front legs of the chair. And move, that's it, just below the chair seat. And now go forward, like that. That's better, much better. Tip the pelvis forward. Good. Okay, now pull the chair back. Great. And then just sit in Dandasana and make sure you have enough height. Close your eyes, bring your fingertips alongside your body, and just feel the effects of bending forward. Today we focused on bending forwards and twisting. So close your eyes, lift your chest, release your thighs down, relax your jaw and your tongue. Good. Okay, so let's come down and let's start to go in the other direction now. So actually, let's use the chair. Since we have the chair, since we're doing a chair practice, let's use the chair. So you have the chair on the back of your mat. If it tends to slip, put your chair against the wall. Okay, so watch what I do. So we'll do Parsvottanasana, right? So I have my hands here on the sides of the chair. My feet are forward, and it's one motion. I take my head back and my hips up. So it's like this. I take my head back and my hips up. Parsvottanasana. And I'm pushing down into the chair, lifting my hips upwards, taking my head back. And then I bring my hips back onto the chair. Okay, so get ready. So sit, make sure that your chair is not going to move. Your feet can be a little bit forward in front of the knees for this. That's it. And make sure it's in one motion. You're holding onto the chair seat, the front of the chair seat. And then take your head back, take your hips up and go up. Yes, that's it. Press those heels down, heels wider than toes. Lift your hips upwards. Lift those hips upwards. Nice. Shoulder blades in. Beautiful. And then come down. That was great. Good. Okay, now some of you, if it's coming well, you can try it with straight legs, right? So it's the same idea. The feet are pointed. So once you're here and once you go up, so I have my hips like I'm not even on the chair right now. Good. I'm going to do one of those things where you would exercise your triceps. And then I would come up and then I would point my feet down. Look how my feet, eventually they point down. The feet go down. Okay, and with the chair, you can get your feet down. I don't know about you, but when I'm on the floor, I can't always get my feet down, right? So take your head back and lift up your hips. Do the straight legged again. If your wrists are concerned, do the bent leg again and see if that worked. Did it work with bent legs? If it doesn't work, just forget about it and do Shatushpadasana. So lie down on your back. That looks gorgeous, Laura. Isn't that feel nice? It's a reverse plank pose. Yes, shoulder blades in, head back, head back. Beautiful, you guys. Oh, that's a keeper. And now release. Okay, let's come on to the back and let's do Shatushpadasana. So lie down on your back. Keep your chair nearby because we'll use that in a moment or two. But for now, just lie down on your back and slide your fingertips under your heels. Unless you'd rather use a belt around the fronts of your ankles, I don't mind either one of those, a belt around the fronts of the ankles or fingertips under the heels. Okay, so one of those options. And now have your feet at least as wide as your shoulders. Take your heels wider than your toes and now lift your hips up. Aren't they related, the poses, right? So stand in your heels more. Pull on the belt if you're using a belt. Start to open up the backs of the knees. So fire up the hamstrings. We've been stretching them for the whole class. Now fire them up. Pull the backs of the knees into the buttocks. Lift your hips higher. Climb onto the top of the shoulders. And then come down. Nice. Super good. Now we're going to do that one more time. If anyone feels really energetic and you'd like to do one upward facing bow pose, I don't mind. I'm not teaching that today, but if you want to do that, I don't mind. So that's the one where you come onto your hands. I don't recommend that if you're dealing with wrist sensitivity. Okay, so get ready. Either Shatushpadasana, turn your palms upwards. Yes, palms are up and then go up. That's it. And it won't feel that great, your Urdhva, right? Doesn't feel that good. That's it. So lift your hips up, keep your neck straight. That's it. Be in your heels more. Fire up your hamstrings. And now lift up your heels. Everybody, lift up your heels. Lift your heels up. That's it. Take that middle buttocks higher. Climb up onto the top of the shoulders. Now, calf muscles to the heels. Heels down. And now hips down. Nice, Denise. There you go. Good for you. Okay. Now we're going to do a special Setu Bandha. So watch what I have. I have my chair and I have a folded blanket this way. I think we did this. I'm not sure when. Okay, so just a regular Dandasana blanket. So it's from the shoulder stand square to a rectangle. Okay, and my shoulders are going to go here on the neat side of the blanket. It's one of those, and your head will be on the sticky mat. If you want to have something thin under your head instead of a sticky mat, that's fine. Then get your blocks. If you have flimsy blocks, you're just going to end up with your blocks like this, right? 2 blocks together, and your calf muscles will be on the chair. However, if you have firmer blocks, some of the foam blocks, you'll have 1 block like this and 1 block like this. So I'm going to show that, but some of you won't make it to that. It depends on what kind of blocks you have. Okay, so watch what I do. And you can use the chair. So I'm bringing my shoulders onto that height. It's kind of like a very mini shoulder stand. My head is on the sticky mat. And then I lift my hips up, and I have one block at the flattest level, and I have the other block at the tallest level. And they come right under my tailbone and my sacrum. And I stretch my legs over this chair. So this is a nice, can you see how the whole back of my lower leg is supported on that? And this is Setu Bandha. So get as much height as you can get, because it will feel the best the more height you have. But make sure the whole back of the leg, the lower leg, is supported on the chair. Does this look okay, you guys? So this is the pose, Setu Bandha. And of course, take off glasses. I'm teaching, so I didn't take off the glasses, right? Okay, so let's try that. You might have to come up and down. It's one of those poses you have to kind of play with to find the right configuration. Once you do, it can be super delicious and very good for your body and your mind. Okay, yeah, that's great, Denise, that's it. But I'm gonna pull that chair a little bit closer to you because you want from the whole calf muscles should be supported. Yes, like that. Take your legs as wide as the chair. That's good. And then pull that blanket a little bit further up. Yes. Doesn't that feel nice? That's great. So that's Setu Bandha with your blocks. You're good. Yes. How does that feel, Nicole? Is it okay? Great. So I'm going to bring the chair up. So make sure the chair is all the way up under the backs of your knees, like the front of the chair. Yes. Roll the thighs in. Turn your palms upwards. You can allow your eyes to close. Setu Bandha. Nice. Yes. And as long as your back feels okay, it's fine if your feet roll out a little bit. So bend your knees. Well, that's okay. Does it feel okay, Laura? If it feels okay, stay there. If it doesn't, you could pull that chair a little bit closer to you. Okay, so keep your hips, pull that chair a little bit closer in. Yes. Good. Turn your palms upwards. Your shoulders are on the blankets. Your head is on the floor, on the sticky mat, or the wood floor is fine. Relax your jaw and your tongue. So the hips, the pelvis is the heaviest part of us. How does it feel to have your pelvis supported? To get your sacrum in. The sacrum is deep in, the tailbone is in. Let your hips be supported by that height. Relax your jaw, your tongue, your throat. If you feel any discomfort in your back, try pressing the legs gently down into the chair, taking the tailbone in. And if it's a discomfort you can't relieve, you need to change the position. It looks like the blocks could be a little bit, that top block could be a little bit higher up towards your chest, Sharon. The top block, a little bit higher up. Yes. Yeah, so it's right under the tailbone. Okay, good. Okay, you guys, now bend your knees and just bring your feet onto the chair. Make sure it's not tipping over. And then it's a big way down, right? So take the blocks out. Just be mindful, you have a long way to go to get your hips down. That's it. And then you can just slide that blanket under your head and your neck and slide the chair under your legs again for Shavasana. And you're good to go. So bring the calf muscles onto the chair, have the blanket under your head and your neck. If you want to cover your eyes, cover your eyes. And if you want to put anything on top of your abdomen and lean it against your thighs like a bolster, feel free to do that. And once you feel like you're in a settled position, after your next exhalation, have some deeper breaths in and have some longer breaths out. And with those longer breaths, release your legs. And with those longer breaths, relax your arms. Soften your belly. And deeply relax across the top of the shoulders. Soften all of the skin on your face. So let your lower molars relax away from your upper molars. And see if you can relax that thick back part of your tongue. And open up the back of the throat. Soften your cheekbones. And rest your eyes on your brain like two pillows. Relax deep inside your inner ear canals. And now rest your brain towards your heart space. And rest your heart space on your own sentience, that beingness. And let go. Now bring your hands onto your body and begin to deepen your breath. Bring your legs away from the chair. Roll to your right side. And come up to sit. Bring your hands to your heart center. And raise your chest upwards and bow your head downwards. Namaste. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much, everybody at home. Have a beautiful Saturday. Thank you so much for coming to class today.
Namaste.